Yang berusaha Dr. Yong Sun Pong, Ketua Unit Etika dan Penerbitan, Pusat Pengurusan Penyelidikan RMC. Yang berusaha Dr. Muhammad Lokman Ibrahim, Koordinator Unit Perolehan Geran, Pusat Pengurusan Penyelidikan RMC. Yang berbahagia Profesor Madya Dr. Syantini Pillai, Pensyarah Fakulti Sains Kemanusiaan, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, merangkap Ketua Penyunting 3L, Language, Linguistics, Literature, di Southeast Asian Journal of English Language Studies, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, dan hadirin sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam UiTM di hati. Alhamdulillah, pada petang Jumaat yang permai ini dapat kita bersama-sama berhimpun bagi menjayakan seminar Perkongsian Penyelidik Muda Siri ketiga 2021. Untuk makluman para hadirin, seminar ini dianjurkan sebagai satu inisiatif untuk menggalakkan penerbitan dalam jurnal berimpak tinggi serta mengekang isu penerbitan dalam jurnal pemangsa. Hadirin yang dihormati, bagi memohon keberkatan dan kelancaran majlis kita pada petang ini, marilah kita bersama-sama memulakan majlis dengan bacaan Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Semoga majlis kita pada hari ini berjalan dengan lancar dan mendapat keberkatan darinya. Baiklah, untuk sesi selanjutnya, saya akan serahkan majlis kepada Dr. Yong Sun Pong selaku moderator seminar kita pada hari ini. Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Hamizah. Selamat datang dan salam sejahtera saya ucapkan kepada hadirin yang hadir pada petang ini. Untuk maklumat tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, petang ini kami ada dua speaker yang bukan kurang hebatnya latar belakang. Dimulakan dengan Dr. Lokman Ibrahim dan diikuti oleh Dr. Syantini Pillai daripada UKM. Baiklah, biar saya mulakan dengan memperkenalkan Dr. Lokman. Tapi sebelum itu, izinkan saya menggunakan bahasa Inggeris untuk meneruskan majlis ni. Okay, before I start and pass over the floor to Dr. Lokman for his seminar, allow me to introduce you his background. Dr. Lokman is a senior lecturer at the School of Chemistry and Environment, Faculty of Applied Science, University Technology Mara. He is also an associate researcher at the Center of Nanomaterials Research, Institute of Science, and a coordinator for Grant Acquisition Unit at the Research Management Center. He is known for his research in the field of heterogeneous catalysts, photocatalysts, renewable energy, biodiesel production, kinetics, waste materials conversion, and reactor application. He has published more than 50 peer-reviewed publications with over 1,000 citations, a H-index of 18. His expertise is well recognized as he is the editorial board member of multiple scientific journals, such as the Petroleum and Petrochemical Engineering Journal. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Lokman to begin his speech. So the floor is yours, Dr. Lokman.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can you hear my voice, Dr. Yong?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, my slides? Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Dr. Yong and teams from Unit Etika and Publication, RMC, for inviting me to this sharing session for today. Okay, I don't know whether I'm worth enough to share with you or not, but I hope some things that can I share and you can take away lah tapau take away, bawa balik kan. I hope something useful lah for you for today. So before I'm going to share perspective, the strategies and tips in my perspective of research and publications, I would like to introduce a little bit about myself lah. Kalau tak kenal maka tak cinta kan, jadi tak seronok pula presentation ni, perkongsian ni pula. Okay, as been mentioned by Dr. Yong just now, okay, I'm a lecturer from Faculty of Applied Science actually. I report duty on 2016, June 2016. Until now it's about 5 years, 2 months lah, 5 years, 2 months. And now currently I'm holding as a position as a coordinator at Unit Perolehan Grant RMC. Okay, it's been 1 year plus already. And if you have any question regarding the grant, pendaftaran grant or hebahan grant or any kind of grant dalaman and dua, me as one of the person lah, you can ask. Okay, so we go next to the next slide. Okay, this is my Google Scholar and Scopus profile actually. So Dr. Yong read just now is Ashinda is 18 for my Google Scholar, but actually for the Scopus is 16, and the document catch by Scopus is 41, and the citations around 734 citation. So of course we know that Google Scholar catch everything about you. If there is my name, so it catch even belum pasti lagi that's mine. So but for my Google Scholar, I tapis, I filter everything. I hope all the documented here is belongs to me lah. But of course, Google Scholar, non-index and index by Scopus also been recorded by the Google Scholar. So the most important thing, we need to focus on the Scopus. Okay, since 2000, I start my research seriously during my PhD 2014. Okay, 2014 until 2021. Okay, I've been published about this is index journal, 37 research papers, 5 review papers and 5 book chapters lah till now. And then awarded by few awards like previously I did my PhD in UPM, University Putra Malaysia, and being awarded by UPM as a gold medalist for PhD, and also Institute Kimia Malaysia for thesis in chemistry. Okay, and then a few award here. Okay, last year also been awarded as top 10 publications Scopus 2020. So I don't know, I hope this can be sustained. To reach there and to sustain is very difficult things. Okay, this is my few journals lah. So we as a researcher, we cannot work alone. No, I'm saying not work alone. You can work alone, but I've been there before, 2016, 2017, because I report duty. That time, mungkin our network is not very strong, collaboration is not very strong. That time I published only 2-3 journals a year, so not very good, not much lah for me. And then after that, we need to, I think, need to move forward, looking for collaboration, looking for networking. I email some of researcher who is very talented, very good in my research field. And then this is outside of my networking. I have one from Bangladesh, from Nagoya University, from Curtin University, UMS, Universitas Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and IPTA in Malaysia lah. We actively working each other till now, and Alhamdulillah, that's a good collaboration, very active collaboration lah. And then we as a young researcher, also we cannot to have, like I said just now, work alone, right? So we need to have a mentor, we need to have a support system. So if you want to go further in this research field, you need to have this. You boleh buat kerja alone seorang boleh, tapi to go further is quite difficult. So if you want to go faster, you need to have a mentors, you need to have support system, you need to have network and collaboration. So that's the most important things. Okay, like this one here, I just printed, just want to make acknowledgement for them, because they work closely with me, like my mentor itself, like Professor Motoron Bugoto over here, from Nagoya University, Umair Rashid, Associate Professor Umair Rashid, and also my supervisor from my PhD, Taufik Yap, Professor Dr. Taufik Yap, currently holding as a Vice Chancellor at the UMS. Okay, so this 3% is very big gun dalam in this research catalysis. Okay, very big gun. I feel so lucky lah to have them to be my mentors, and because if you can see here, I don't know you can see or not, Ashinda of them ni like Prof Goto 52 and Umair Rashid is 54, Taufik Yahya is 51, and their citations is thousands. So a lot of citation, that's very big gun. And then I have also collaborator from Bangladesh, Dr. Aminul Islam, one of my senior during since my PhD, and that time he used to be a postdoc. Okay, and then my collaborator, this is very new for me, Dr. Munawa and Dr. Tan Yihua. Dr. Munawa because of SRP grant. If you remember, RMC opened SRP grant for UITM visa. So I just take this challenge to contact one of the lecturers in UITM, in the University Indonesia, and then I contact him because his research is very close to my research, very identical. So and then he replied me very fast. So we got a lot of very good discussion and very fruitful discussion. And Tan Yihiwa also same. So even though we just met last year, but we have produced papers together, about 4 to 5 papers, and all of them is index papers. Even this is very young researchers lah, even younger than me, I think. Okay, and then we have Dr. Nurul, Dr. Sufri. Dr. Sufri is one of our lecturers in iOS also, Dr. Haida Kaus, and many more, actually many more, but this is highlight of my presentation. Okay, this is a few papers. Sorry, I'm not showing off actually. I just want to encourage other young researchers, other researchers outside, to encourage to prove them that even like me also can publish high impact factor journals. Yes, it's very difficult, it's very challenging, but it's possible. Okay, like this one, this is my first paper actually during my I submitted 2014 and published 2015, end of 2015. So I got rejected 7 times. This is my first paper because my master I don't have any experience publishing any papers. So my PhD, this is my first paper, I got rejected 7 times in different journal, not same journal. So you can count in the same journal how many revision that we did. So a lot of more than 10 times revision. Okay, and the funny story behind this journal, behind this paper, actually after rejected by 7 times, after rejected, I met one of the mentor, Dr. Umair Rashid. So I asked him why not we go to the lower impact factor journals, but he said something to me that why that sentence is stuck to my head until now. Why we need to lower grade our paper after a lot of revision and improvement have been done. So sometimes if you heard sharing from other researchers, they say after a few time rejection, okay, maybe this is the time we need to step down, go lower impact factor. But this is the first time I heard about this. So it's not impossible, it's possible because I already proved that. At the 8th paper, I tried to publish renewable energy, and alhamdulillah it got accepted. So before this, I got rejected by impact factor less than 5. Okay, less than 4 actually. And then that time renewable energy is 5 something. So now because journals is updating their impact factor every year, right? Because based on their citations of papers. So this is even I don't know whether this one is my first. Actually, this is first submission paper. And then second, the first publish is my second paper. My second paper is better, is easier than first paper because during the first paper, the rejection with comment for me is the best teacher. So do not afraid with the rejection because rejection with comment, rejection with comment. Kalau rejection saja is nothing because rejection saja you need to go to another journal. You don't know what is wrong with your paper. But rejection with the comments, you know what's wrong with your paper, and then you improve based on that comment. If you send to another journals, got rejected again, so you improve again based on their comment. Until this paper, I improved that more than 10 times. That's why it can be, maybe because of that, I put a lot of effort to publish more higher impact factor lah. And then even my review paper, this is my first review paper, second research paper. Actually, my niat is to convert my chapter 2 in thesis PhD to be a paper, because I have clear objective. I want to prepare thesis with paper style thesis, and alhamdulillah I got that lah. Because UPM letak syarat that time, we need to publish more than 4 to 5 papers, so we can compile all the papers to be one thesis. So I alhamdulillah I got that. Okay, so this is papers, highlighted papers, and then a few current papers also. This one is one of the highlights, because I showing this paper because when I see this paper, it made me smile, because a lot of citation, a lot of what we call it, views got from the readers. Okay, like this one got published in Energy Conversion Management, Impact Factor 9.7. This is FYP project, so it's not impossible to publish FYP project, and I proved that. Okay, this is FYP project. How to do it, I will explain to you later in the next slide lah. And then this is one of very new papers got published early of this year. Collaboration effort with my one of my mentors and also PhD students lah. PhD student, me as a co-supervision for this PhD student. I helped her to improve this paper and to correct what's the comments from the renewable energy from this journal lah. And this collaboration effort gave me one paper about for impact factor 14.9, quite impressive juga lah actually. And then this is other papers which is give me a lot of citations lah. Okay, so as a researcher also we need to ask ourselves why we need to produce a paper. Okay, why we need to produce a research paper. So go back to the basic. Okay, I like to share with you one hadis from here. Barang siapa menyampaikan satu ilmu saja dan ada orang yang mengamalkannya, maka walaupun yang menyampaikan sudah tiada atau meninggal, ia akan tetap memperolehi pahala. So we go to that concept again. Not we produce paper not to impress others or not to get the recognition or not to get promoted, like been said by Professor Zaini Ujang this morning, right? Not to get promoted. No, it's actually to share with other the ilmu that we get, what the findings, what the knowledge that we get from our research. So even though this is the things like macam it's not common things like research, maybe like bottle air, how the research is done, and this is useful for everybody. So that's the things. Even we die, the pahala still come to us. So we want to convey useful and usable ideas, informative knowledge, findings, theories, all novelties that we get from our research. Okay, that's the most important thing. Not to get the promoted, not to get the to impress others. No. Okay, and as a researcher also we need to differentiate between report and also research article. That's a different things. For me, this is my perspective. If you don't agree, it's okay, no problem. This is my perspective. Report and research paper, research article is totally different. I'm going to show you later on what is the difference between report and research articles. Okay, so the motivation here, if you want to publish a high impact factor journal, so you need to refer and read and download higher impact factor journal compared to your paper. Okay, if you want to publish at impact factor 10, so you need to refer to impact factor 20 journals. So that's the way how we do it. Of course, we want to be investor like Elon Musk, for example. Elon Musk to give a battery. We need to refer to him. Okay, not refer, just make him as idol for us in the research field. How to do what he did, everything. So make him as idol, and same as this one. If you want to go high impact factor journals, you need to read higher impact factor journal, what they are explaining, how they explain everything. Okay, and then scientific articles. for me is it's not only scientific articles, it's not only reporting research articles, but also is art of publication. Seni kepada publication, how you want to publish your papers is also art. For me it's also art, because we can play around with word, we can play around with the technical figures, table, everything. Not play around secara illegal, no, this is legal things. And then me also, many people come to me, ask me what between quantity and quality, which one I choose between quantity and quality. Can I get answer from you all? Which one is better? Or you can put in the chat box, quantity number 1, quality number 2. Let me know what is your opinion on that. Which one is better, quantity or quality? Okay, got response here. Number 1 for quantity, number 2 for quality. Which one we want to go? Okay. Okay, majorly response here is quality. All right. Okay. Okay, good response. Okay, most of quality. Okay. All right. Okay. In my opinion, I'm not saying you have free opinion. Everyone has free opinion, but we need to go to the basic. For me, my opinion is why we need to choose. Kenapa kita perlu pilih between quantity and quality, right? Because it's relate each other. Because it needs each other, quantity and quality. That's my opinion. Because to form the H index over here, because you know what is H index. To form H index over here, we need number of research paper. There's another pillar here, and then we need number of citations. Okay, number of citation based on quality of your papers. Even though you have published a lot, but the quality is less, then less you have lack of citations, and then your hash index cannot be go. That's why I think it's not, bukan nak kiblatkan pada hash index. We want to ensure our papers is not short sendiri. Our papers is something that useful to others. So that's the most important thing. That's why for me, I think I'm not choosing quantity and quality. I'm going both quantity and quality. Okay, that's why most of the paper I try to target high quality, but I try to push myself also, and my collaborator also try to push to publish more than KPI that we promise to our university yearly lah. Kalau university letak 3 ataupun 2 atau 3, we try to publish double or triple than that. Okay. So, and then I also advise my student, if you read journals, you need to have 2 purpose. First purpose is looking for knowledge and scientific answer, and second one also very important, ramai yang mungkin tak perasan, learning the technical and writing style. Okay, kalau you have these 2 purpose, I think you gain both. You are gaining the knowledge and scientific answer, and then you also gaining the technical parts, how to publish, the art of publication. Okay. Okay, for the type of publication, we have over here we have 4 type of publication. We have short communication. I believe over here all the researchers here also know the short communication, conference proceeding, research paper, review paper. This is all different, but concept is the same. But today I'm going to focus on the research papers lah. What is the strategy? What is the tips to go for the high impact research papers? Okay. When start planning to write? Okay, actually start planning to write is now. And if you ask the investors, like normally investor, I like to quote the investors, because their motivation is very good. Okay, the best time to write is the days before yesterday, ataupun 5 years ago, ataupun starting what is research. And the second best time is now. You don't need to wait until you did the experiment to do research and then get the results and then write a paper. No. For me, I'm not going to be like that, because at the end, you did a research, you think that's enough. When you write a paper, I think some apa tu, when you write a paper, maybe some of data is less, maybe some of the data is not good when you compare with other research paper. So my plan is, once you get the idea, draft a paper first. Okay, draft a paper, make a rangka paper tu. So what you going to do, the tajuk, what is the scope. Okay, abstract tinggal dulu, and then what is the what is the introduction, and then what you going to put inside the experimental. Just put only the subtopic is enough, subtopic, and then you're going to plan what characterization you're going to use. Like we want to apply a grant, like we propose a proposal. That's the way I did lah, and my teams and my student. And then barulah we go to the research or experiment and discuss with other research, discuss with collaborator, discuss with student, and then do experiment, and then collect the data, and then complete that draft paper at the first place. So that's the way we did. My practice lah, my practice. Not do the experiment and then write, no. So at least we're not going everywhere. Just stay focused on the scope of the research. So that's the thing, as a guide lah, as a guide. Okay, because I heard before, the best things to make you fail in the research is do everything. It's not good. That's the best way to failure in research. Do everything. It's not good. You need to focus in your scope, in your research. Okay. All right. So another one is, do not fear the failure and rejection. Okay. So like I said in the previous slide, you no need to fear for the rejection by the reviewers or editors. Okay. If you think that you need to have a brilliant idea before can write a paper, no need that. Feeling that you are not creative and do not have fantastic idea as the other researcher, no, please don't. Or you have an idea but keeping it to yourself and not discuss to other, it's not good also. But if you have idea, you need to expose this idea to your team, to your collaboration, to your students, to your mentors, and ask their opinions, discuss with them how to do it. Is it possible to do it? Okay, is it significant or not? Okay, that's the things. If you just keep and not do it, I think you just wasting your time. So you need to have idea, you need to do it. Otherwise, it's not go anywhere. You need to do it. Of course, first step is very difficult, but once you do it, you have the way to do it. Okay. Okay, and then I need to wait a moment. Sorry. Okay, we need to identify the problem ideas, and we need to ensure that our goals, our problem ideas is, we need to see the clear objective there to convey useful and reusable ideas, informative knowledge, findings, and theories, and make our ideas is infectious. Okay, like a virus. We have discussed with supervisor, with our mentor, with our student, and publish it, and become all the affected with our research style, research or our field. That's the things. Because at the end, we want to make our papers, our ideas, our findings become effective to them, because so they can use our papers to expand more. Okay, that's is a research. Otherwise, it's only search, right? So we need to do a research. So they will research about our papers also, to keep these things not just less stop there. So we need to go broad lah. Okay, like for example, this is my paper, renewable energy also. So this paper, in few years we got 86 citations. So this proof that this paper is effective and acceptable by the other researchers. So we need to have that. Kalau if you have a paper but not get any citation in few years, I think that paper is not good. I'm not saying not good, but maybe it's not reach to the person, and maybe the idea inside there not standard, not achieve their standard. So that's why we need to go more impact factor. We need to make sure our discussion, our point there is useful to others. Like here I just copy paste print screen from the Google Scholar, Datuk Fauzi. Everyone knows Datuk Fauzi from UTM actually. So he has citation 40,000 something. So it's ridiculous for me actually. And with Ashinda is 103. This is Malaysian people, our people. And then there's another one, Dr. Yun Hao Eng. I know this person because this person came here. This is Dr. Yun is a Malaysian, now is a lecturers at the University of Hong Kong, and he's very good in photocatalysis, same field as me, and his citation is 14,000 somethings, and this is young researchers also, and then Ashinda is 51. So this indicates them their research is very good, their research is acceptable to others and can be cited to other papers. Okay. So to produce a paper, your paper must have a clear insight and useful for the readers. What I mean clear insight is I put as X factor, because normally my experience, this X factor is very difficult to get unless you finish all the one complete papers. Okay, what is the most significant things you want to show to others? What kalau kita dalam bahasa Melayu, apa ibu dia, apa ibu dia, the main point of this paper, what is the main objective of this paper? Okay, normally after I did all complete paper, so and compared to other papers, so I know, okay, what is less, what is lack here, so we need to put clear, and normally I add this X factor in the last paragraph in the introduction part. Okay, last paragraph in the introduction part, like normally kalau we go download a lot of paper, normally last paragraph tu is start with the present study, highlight the usage kan, blah 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 in this study, what is we going to do here in investigation, thus the aims of present study is for what kan. So this is the thing. So after this sentence, you need to highlight what is the main point in this paper. For example, this point. So this is published FYP. This one is FYP paper, got published in ECM, impact factor 9 something. So in the last paragraph, I put only this one. As per our knowledge, no study has been performed on the synthesis and characterization of sodium oxide impregnated carbon nanotube catalyst, and it's used for uterus acidification of waste cooking oil to biodiesel. Yes, jangan simply put like this unless you memang very confirm this is first study. So just put that. Okay, so this is the highlights in my research. And besides to study, discuss the main function of the metal oxide as the Lewis acid in terms of their mechanism, electron transfer, nucleophile electrophile interaction has been investigated. Okay, most of the papers outside there, they only discuss about the you put the catalyst increase the rate of reaction. This is my example lah. But you not explain in term of the nucleophile attack, electrophile, molecular level. Tak ada explain tu. So that's, kalau if you put there, because this paper also got rejected many times, and then at the before got accepted here, I just changed this one and I put another proposed mechanism. So that's why this paper increase another level and decrease another level in terms of quality. Okay. And then to prepare a good paper, you need to have a good flow. This is very common lah actually, tapi tak apalah, I just share to you. Here, like you need to ask here is the problem, what is the problem, what interesting about this problem, because a paper, we need to have a clear problem first. After we get a clear problem, then we solve that problem. Use our idea tu dapat daripada mana? It's not simply dapat hidayah idea macam tu. No, you need to get from other current or latest publication, and that publication is not simply publication low impact factor. You need to go higher impact factor. That's what I said, that's what I advised at the first presentation, at the beginning of the presentation, right? We need to refer at the higher impact factor journals. And then you prepare, normally me personally did this, and also my student also did this. We're looking for research gap, and how the best way to looking for research gap is For me, I download as much as paper related to this problem, and then about 20 to 30 papers download it, and then make in one paper what is the catalyst they use, what is condition, what is performance, what is the reference. Okay, just compare between them, what is the catalyst, what is the condition, every detail. So we need to go and we need to discuss with our students, sit together with students. Do not afraid. Do not shy with student and sit together with the student. Tak ada masalah. It's a good way. Actually, so find with them what is the research gap. How can we improve? What is our specialty in our ideas? So the most important thing. Make sure you do not repeat other papers reported. Okay, and then once you find the research gap tu, so baru datang idea apa yang kita perlu buat. Okay, what is idea? So you come with a detail data analysis, discussion, design, plan, what you need to do, characterization, what else. And and this is the things that we need to discuss. Make it drafted in the A4 paper, something like that, and discuss with the student ataupun ada mentor collaboration lah. Okay, before we start our research writing ataupun experiment. Okay, this is a structure for high impact factor research paper. Everyone know this, but I'm assisting for you to see also again for our reminder also. For me, I have my own guideline. Even we have title, abstract, keyword, introduction. For me, abstract title we must clear and concise. Okay, clear in the same scope, very clear scope. Okay, abstract for me less than 150 word. Kalau panjang than that, or longer than that, it's not good lah. Tak bagus for me lah. Keyword 5 to 6, okay, and then the arrangement of keyword must be alphabetical. Even though benda ni macam alah simple je kan, but for me I think that's a good way for me lah. That's my practice. Make it alphabetical. Okay, introduction 2 to 3 pages, double space, or 4 to 5 pages, 4 to 5 paragraph. Okay, kalau you letak 6, 7 paragraph, it's not informative anymore. Okay, and then apa tu is lengthy. So the reviewer, the readers also bosan untuk baca panjang-panjang introduction. So for me 2 to 3 pages ataupun normally 2 pages, only 4 to 5 paragraph, double space. Now, your introduction must be clear, precise, and directly what's the point you want to do. Okay, methodology, catalyst, ini semua ni it belong to my field lah. So everyone has their own field. So it's suitable for their own field, relevant to others, relevant to each of the researcher lah. Result discussion, every discussion must have support or compare. Support, I mean support with other research paper. Jangan buat statement, only your statement. Okay, you found that this is like this. Okay, because of this. No, you cannot do that. You must, you can do that, but you must support with other reported journals. So that's the way to make your statement is very good, very strong. Okay, and then compare to the data reported lah, macam I cakap tadi kan. Okay, and then result also, you need to differentiate between report and research article. Report, like you only reporting like macam I put catalyst, okay, put catalyst will increase the rate of reaction up to 90%, for example. That's a report. But for the research article, you need to ask you why this is happening, how this is happening, what is the result, what is the products. That's important because this is differentiate between report and research articles. So research, we need to go deep, fundamentally. If possible, go to the molecular level. If you're working with the photocatalyst, go to electron transfer, for example. Okay, that's the way we can add up our level quality of our paper. Okay. And conclusion, acknowledgement lah. Acknowledgement, don't forget research grant. Okay, don't forget research grant. You need to put research number profile. Okay. Okay, we go to the abstract. Lama pula ya. Okay, we go to the abstract first. This is the tips, little bit tips. Maybe I can share with you my tips. Maybe most of you pun know about this. The abstract, normally we need to have 4. less than 160. For me lah, that's my rule, less than 160. And then we have 4 points. Introduction, okay, the best methodology, not all, but the best, ataupun you just put characterization, okay, and then the best result you get. And then the most precise and sharp conclusion, very good conclusion. Okay, this is abstract, okay. And normally I write the abstract the last one after finish all the discussion, everything lah. Okay, this is another example abstract. For me, it's not good, but it's already published. I don't know published where, but for me it's not good lah because it has only introduction, methodology je, and then tak result pun sikit, only very little results, but methodology is very long, yeah, and then tak ada conclusion, tak ada penutup. So for me it's not good lah, but this is already published. Sorry ya. Okay, this is another one which is not advisable. Our group also this one. Sorry to the honest. Okay, this already published. High impact factor juga, tapi for me it's still lack lah. We should put results over here. We need to have intro, methods, results, and conclusion. Okay, this one introduction. We go to the introduction part. And introduction, like I said before, 2 to 3 pages only, double spacing, because if you see my experience, kalau you prepare 2 pages, at the end you publish paper, only half of the papers also, only half je yang masuk. Ataupun kalau you pergi pada 3 pages in the Microsoft Word, only 1 page ataupun 1.5 page of your papers, because it's compact kan, apa tu, single spacing, the size is getting smaller. Okay, for setiap paragraph, every paragraph have their own purpose. Okay, like me, normally I practice 4 to 5 paragraph. First paragraph is general knowledge. Let me share to you. Okay, this one, my papers. Okay, first paragraph, normally background of the field on the research alternative fossil fuel, on the search of alternative fossil fuel, ataupun background of the process. Okay, only what is the problem, general problem. Kalau kita relate our research relate to the environment, what is the factor that affecting our environment. Okay, so you need to focus in the first paragraph, and then the second paragraph, the idea. Okay, the idea, why we need to improve this. Okay, the third paragraph, the idea of your work, how can we do it, and how can we improve that problem. Okay, and the last one, macam mana kita nak buat eksperimen. The most important things, the significant, the X factor inside this paper, the information you want to highlight, ibu kepada papers ni. Normally I put in the last paragraph. So this is the techniques, the practice that I normally use lah. Okay, I don't know, maybe that's why I said earlier, just now at the beginning, to produce a paper is not only to prepare a good research articles, but it's about art of publication also. This is what I mean. Okay, we have agenda, we have what you call it, a draft. That's why we need to prepare a draft, and flow must be very good flow. Okay, the stories must be ini. And then to improve our intro a little bit ataupun impactful, so we need to add like latest news, historical phenomena, health concern, dealing with number or statistic, international level and also national level. For example, like this. Okay, we have this also my papers, our collaboration papers. This also new paper also got published in the resource conservation recycling. This is review paper. Okay, the latest news. What I mean latest news is like this. As reported by the United UN, more than 80% of wastewater generated from this kind of information can improve your papers or can make your papers important. Okay, so when reader read this, oh, this is very important to solve the environmental, for example, right? Okay, and then second example, like historical phenomena like global warming, something like very significant to us. So this is important to make your papers impactful, easy to publish, and catch the reader's eyes. Okay, another one, dealing with numbers, statistic. Okay, normally this is, if you notice this is all like, this is first paragraph lah, second paragraph, like I said just now, right? It's like of a flow of the story. So normally in the second paragraph ataupun first paragraph, we dealing with numbers, phenomena happen in the worldwide. So this is what I mean. Okay, this is statistic. 700, this one, as a result, almost 700,000 metric tons of PFAD were produced in Malaysia in the same year, in the year that time 2015 lah. So this is the statistics, can make your papers impactful. All right, so dealing with numbers, health concern. Why this your paper is very important? Health concern, numbers, health concern, like this. Here, okay, 10,000 different dyes, pigment, and inefficient dyeing water treatment process which cause significant danger to the human health. And then you not state only, just you support with the reference. So this is important. Even you look very simple, tapi for me this is important to make your papers catch the reader's eyes, reviewers and editors' eyes. Okay, we go to the methodology. Methodology must be detailed for me. Even though you have a secret ingredient, I think in the knowledge, why we need to secret everything, right? Because at the end, we want to get a pahala, like I said just now. Do make it secret. For me, I'm not making my research is secret. I'm just sharing to others. Inshallah, others, Allah will look at you, evaluate you based on what you have done. Okay, full name of chemical formula must be put inside the materials. Your materials here, you must put as detailed as you can. You purchase from where, the purity of your chemicals, the company you purchase, maybe the country, the chemical formula. So you need to detail, very detailed in the materials part. Ada juga yang normally, because I normally review papers published as a reviewers lah, like macam conference proceeding. Ada juga yang very very simple, just like pointing 1, 2, 3, it's not good. So you need to be like this, in the one sentence, one paragraph, every detail. A mixture of standard frame consists of methodology, everything. Okay, and then in your methodology experimental, here if you dealing with the standard, international standard, for example this one, to calculate the frame yield, for example, we need to have a standard method, not simply just calculate based on your knowledge. No, cannot. So if you dealing with the standard methods, you need to cite the standard method like this. European regulated procedure, EN 14103, and calculated using the following question. Okay, so you need to cite them. Okay, and then the formula like this. Okay, this is chemical engineering journal. This is, if I'm not mistaken, it's impact factor 13 something, 13 impact factor. And then the formula over here, actually that time, how to say, I understand, but it's very difficult to, at the first place, to prepare this. It's very difficult and takes a lot of times. Okay, unless you confirm, and once you create your and this one also, I'm not design myself, need to refer to a lot of journals and also books. Okay, so this is formula from the, kalau orang fakulti engineering dia tahulah formula ni, untuk calculate the critical value, critical temperature, critical pressure. Okay, using this, once we add mixture of different solvent, the critical temperature is going to be changed. And how to calculate this, it's very difficult to at the beginning, very difficult. and it worth it. You put some effort to prepare this formula, it make a wow factor to the editor and the reviewer and also readers. Okay, even though some of the readers don't understand, tak apa, it's okay. But if it goes to the person who understand this, is very impactful. That's what I said lah. That's what I mean. Okay, equation must act like professional. Okay, how to prepare equation? Jangan letak simply kalau darab jangan letak x pangkah. Kalau bukan x, darab tu bukan x, you go to the formula. You go to the equation. Using equation in the words. Tak apa, you pergi walaupun susah, walaupun lambat, takes time, pergi, and then all the words tu we provide you the formula using this tab, formula tab. Okay, we go another one, methodology. We going to the for this one. Okay, this I want to focus on this one, the blue color. The preparation of the glucose derived solid acid catalyst was adopted and modified as proposed by Zhong et al. Okay, most of the papers I review lah. Most of the paper I review, normally they forgot to cite where they refer these methods. Of course, you need to do when you want to do the reaction, the experiment, some of the experiment you you refer to other journals, right? And then for me, you need to put their citation. Kalau ada modification, ada adoption, ada modification on that method, just mention modified, like this one. So I'm saying that you cannot simply design your own experiment because this is scientific knowledge and scientific paper. Bukan kita nak prepare macam nak masak-masak kan. It's not. So you need to focus to refer to another impactful journals, which is your methods ni memang orang dah buat, tapi kita modify, kita improve that method to become better. Our idea to become better kan. Of course, kalau kita tengok orang nak buat kapal terbang pun bukan sekali buat. Dia ada research sampai dah jadi kapal terbang, sampai jadi roket macam Elon Musk punya buat. Okay. So methodology, if you have prepared your catalyst ataupun any kind of reaction lah, you need to very comprehensive, very detail in term of mungkin ada stirring rate, ada temperature, ada fluctuation of temperature ke, ada program ke, you need to put everything inside there. Okay.
Excuse me, Dr. Lokman,
Yeah.
I am very sorry. We have around 2 to 3 minutes. So hopefully finish it, yeah, so that we can allow like enough time for Q&A.
Okay.
Dr. Lokman,
Sorry.
please continue.
Alright. Thank you, Dr. Yang, for reminder. Okay, so we go to the result discussion. Result discussion is so important. Make your result discussion be brief, make your point clearly. Kalau macam you tengok kat sini, very detailed, very long discussion. Okay, very long introduction, not focused and very messy. And then after revision, we combine macam very simple, normally simple sentence lah. Of course, researchers know how to ni kan. Tapi sometimes a simple sentence, like macam Ali nak pergi kedai beli gula. Why not we simplify this two sentence, we combine these two sentence in one sentence, like to make it more another level, using combination, using junction word. Okay, make it combine the very kata simple word to make it complex words. That's how we increase our quality of the papers in the discussion. Okay, and then this is for example reporting, to differentiate between reporting and research articles. Okay, reporting like this. The reaction profile presented shows the effect of reaction of the temperature ranging from 60 to 90 degrees Celsius. Okay, with additional of catalyst, the rate of reaction, the film yield increase. For example, that's a reporting. But to increase a little bit the quality, you need to support with the fundamental aspect, scientific knowledge. How we need to analyze, we need to discuss, explain very detailed in the molecular level. Like this one is the FYP project. I like to use this example because this is FYP project. FYP project FYP student did this reaction, and I did this come up with this proposed mechanism. So this proposed mechanism increase a little bit our impact to the papers. So we need to put that, and then you jangan simply put like this. Of course, kalau nak buat benda ni, it's not like macam conteng-conteng. No, you need to refer a lot of papers, a lot of research lah, and then to support with your discussion. Okay. Okay, this is discussion, avoid repetition, of course, avoid repetition, keep things in perspective. Okay, table and figure also important. Tables, kalau you put a tables, you must have standard deviation. For me, this is important because we want to show that our result, our experiment, we repeat. Not the one-time experiment, just got result, just report. No, we repeat the experiment to give most accurate and precise data. That's the most important. That's important. Okay, and then the unit, don't forget the unit. And then this is very common. The standard, the formatting was not that wrong table style of table also not good. Okay, inconsistent font size, inconsistent decimal place, number. Okay, surface area tak ada unit. Okay, something benda-benda yang simple macam ni akan make your paper rejected. Okay, figures pun very important because from the figures it can make your paper wow. Okay, wow tu is very important to make others, to make reviewer, editor very focus ataupun catch the reader's eyes lah, catch the reader's eyes. Okay, memang susah untuk prepare benda-benda ni, but it's possible, and this thing I can do it by using the Microsoft PowerPoint je, tak perlu nak ni, this one PowerPoint. Okay, this one also if you have like software, you can use software, and me normally kalau macam ni I pakai Excel je pun boleh, no problem. Tapi if you have any software yang very good, okay, you be my guest, better lah to use that one. Okay, like this one, lot of figures, make it very
Lokman, we lost you. So are you still around? Can you hear us? Lokman, are you still around?
that's what I mean here. Okay, compare your statement in discussion, compare everything, jangan letak kita punya discussion only, we need to compare with other reported journals. Okay, something like this. And then if you have produced your results, your product, you need to analyze the product and evidence the great achievement as an evidence. Okay, so I have a few things actually lagi. Common error for writing scientific manuscript. And then how to publish in pandemic season. Okay, of course, in 1 year, kita MCO cannot do experiment, no data, no results. Student cannot enter the lab, so cannot do experiment, so tak ada data. So how can we do it? And fortunately, I published 3 papers, 3 book chapters in past MCO, and then other papers lah. Okay, this is collaboration effort with my students. Okay, how I do it, how I did that, I use online meeting, online progress meeting, share Google document like this. Okay, this is topics, this book chapter, and then I create the draft. Okay, siapa yang buat introduction, who make this subtopic ionic liquid functional, siapa yang buat. Okay, I give assignment to my student, and then this Google Docs ni very good. I think very effective. Even though the last this one we prepared this within 2 weeks. So every student gives effort, and you will be surprised by your student. Your student is very good actually. Okay, your student very good. Okay. Okay, this is choosing how to choose the right journals. You can choose a journal. You can use a journal finder. Okay.
I'm sorry, Dr. Lokman.
Submission of papers.
Can we move to the conclusion? I think we run out of time. I'm so sorry,
Okay,
Dr.
okay,
Lokman.
okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, let me go through a few slides. Okay, this is how you can answer response to the minor correction ataupun major correction lah. That's how I respond. Okay, this is one of energy conversion. My record, I have 14 submission, successful rate 6 over here. And this one is renewable energy, 5 submission, successful rate 2 to 6 over 14 to over 5. Okay, another useful tips. Okay, maybe this is last lah. Takeaway tips. Read my practice. Read 2 to 3 related research work a week. Need to make sure you always have paper in revision. Okay. If you feel that for today I don't have in revision, so you need to do something to make your paper in revision. Then read at least 1 paragraph a day. Great. This is I did what I did. Challenge yourself and put clear direction. Create a good circle, not waiting for good one. Okay, jangan you create. Kalau you tak jumpa circle yang baik, you cari, you make that circle. Okay, do not wait for a good circle. Okay, create your own bank proposal. Kalau ada proposal, this is for good for researcher because researcher need a grant, research grant. So research grant also not for us, also for our university and for our students. Okay, to ensure the sustainability of our works. Okay, and I like to take this Elon Musk punya ni dengan Michael Saylor. This is both of them is billionaires lah, actually billionaires. And you need to be sort of rigorous in your self-analysis. If other people are putting 40-hour work daily weeks, if you are putting 100 works, and then then you will achieve in 4 months what it takes then a year to achieve. So if you double up your effort, inshallah it will be better for you. And then this is Michael Saylor, one of the billionaires in cryptocurrency lah, actually. Okay, this is acknowledgement for all my students here. And then this is in the past 5 years we also did a lot of crazy things also. We go this one we go to climb Kinabalu Peak. This is Prof Ilham. This Prof Ilham mentor apa tu rector UiTM Pahang. He brings the UiTM apa tu JC here. So this me, Dr. Muzamil here, Dr. Fatima and other. So we go for the riding, we go to the diving. In past 5 years journey, we very eager to wait for MCO because MCO a lot of things delay. So this is all the ni lah. And we have created one FSG trackers who this all the things activity can honestly can make my life is a little bit balanced, not very stressful. You can do apa tu in control lah your apa tu stress in control, everything in control. Okay, Dr. Young, I think that's all for me. And sorry for taking a lot of times. Okay.
Okay, I am so sorry to the participants who wish Dr. Lokman to continue. Unfortunately, for today's program, we only allocate 1 hour for.
Sorry, Dr. Young.
So about the slides, it will be shared to all the participants later on. So we move on. Yeah, due to time constraint, we move on to the next speaker, Dr. Shantini. So please, Dr. Shantini, while waiting for me to introduce you, please start by sharing your slide. So I'm going to move over and start reading Dr. Shantini's profile. So today we are privileged to have Associate Professor Dr. Shantini Pillai Joseph Sandra from University Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM, in which she is going to present her talk titled Best Strategies for Writing and Successfully Publishing a Journal Article. Dr. Shantini is an associate professor at the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, National University of Malaysia. She teaches world literature, post-colonial literature in English, and post-colonial theory and issues. Amongst others, she specializes in ethnic diversity, diaspora, and transnationalism in literary and cultural texts, with particular reference to the global South Asian diaspora, as well as cultural consciousness of Asian Catholic diasporic communities and religious mobilities. Dr. Shatini has published more than 50 peer-reviewed publications with over 150 citations and H-index of 7. She is also the editor-in-chief for 3L Language Linguistics Literatures, the Southeast Asian Journal of English Language Studies, and the editorial board member of the International Journal of Sociology of Language. So with that, I pass over the floor to you, Dr. Shantini. So please, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Young, for that introduction, and a very good afternoon to everyone. So for today, I will be taking you through best strategies for writing and successfully publishing a journal. Sorry, let me just put this on mute. Right. So let me just. Right. So this is based on my management of 3L. The journal that I am currently chief editor of, that is the flagship journal of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities at UKM. And so I will take you through the management process, as well as the point of view of a chief editor as I screen articles that come in to the portal of submission for our journal 3L. So you know, the most important factor to consider with your article is firstly preparing a manuscript to meet target journal expectations. So you need to have a few target journal expectations. You need to engage with existing critical conversations. And you need to also contribute to existing conversations on the subjects, because these are the three main factors that we look at when we look at your articles. When I screen your articles, when my editorial board also screens your articles, and of course, the peer review. Now, so key aspects to consider. Firstly, when you have your article, you would ideally screen a few target journals. And the best way in which to go about this would be to perhaps identify at least 3 prospective journals in your field, whichever that field may be. So I'm basing this on language literature and linguistics. Take note of their scope and focus, because we often, one of the first things I look at when I look at an article that comes in is whether or not it fits with our scope and focus. And if it doesn't, it will be rejected at the desk, what we call desk rejection. And of course, you take note of the scope and focus, and then you ensure that your article is aligned with the scope and focus of that journal. Next, of course, and very important, you need to be aware of the index status of the journal. So this depends on your institution. Most institutions would expect you to at least publish in indexed journals such as perhaps Scopus or WS Social Sciences Citation Index, or the Arts and Humanities Citation Index. The other thing that you need to look out for is, does the journal have a bona fide editorial board? So who sits on the editorial board? Are they from universities, or are they just, you may not recognize some of the names. So you need to be careful with the editorial board as well. So this is being vigilant when you screen these journals for publication. Next, you would then need to screen the articles, because it's important to actually look at the lineup of articles to look what you could do what I usually do, and I send my articles out as well, is to screen the list of articles in the most recent issues. Sorry, this is, no, that's not. Right, okay. Screen the list of articles in the most recent issues of the targeted journals. Map them against the title of your journal article. So you need to see, whether or not that the article that you're working on would fit, that there are patterns that would coincide with yours. You could also perform a keyword search within the journals for similar topics. So this is to ensure that you're not just sending it out blindly. You have an idea, you have a target in mind. So with that, when you do that, then you can see whether there is a pattern to the type of the articles published and whether your paper would fit. Now, then of course, you begin to prepare your manuscript or work on it, in detail. So first and foremost, of course, is your title. So these are some of the things that I look out for when I screen articles, right? So if a title is clear, concise, and if it is significant, so avoid, and also I would say avoid general or generic titles, because the chief editor, who is the first person who's going to look at your article, will look at it to see whether or not the article, the title makes sense, right? Or whether it is a jumble of many, many words and there is no clear focus in the title. Next, it would look at whether or not this title would be significant enough for the journal, because all journals are also, looking at citation and impact factor. So, they are looking for articles that would elevate their status as well, elevate their index status. So, if you have a title that's very generic, then it would not really garner much interest. It must be specific enough. So that's the title, right? Then, of course, we go to the abstract. So for articles in language, linguistics, and literary studies, we look for an abstract that is clear and concise, that provides a sequential summary of contents, and it reflects enough of a scholarly knowledge of the discipline interested in. These are the 4 aspects that an abstract should have, that I look out for, that my editorial board looks out for, and of course the reviewers as well look out for. And this is the first sort of like the first line of filter. So let's say I look at the title, I'm not so convinced, but never mind, maybe I will look at the abstract and then I will see whether or not this is really worth going into peer review. So I will look to see whether or not it provides a clear and structured statement. I will see whether it lists down its key objectives, whether it identifies significant findings of the discussion, and whether it provides a concluding statement. And of course, in all of this, language is very important, because we are the language journal. It's English language studies. So if an abstract is already riddled with grammatical errors, I would know already that this paper is not worth it, but I will of course open the paper, look through it, and then get the view sometimes of my editorial board members, and then we will decide. So most often, if it is riddled with grammatical errors, it will be test rejection. So these are things that are very, very important. It's sort of the first impression that you give the chief editor and the editorial board. So this is very, very important, and you need to be vigilant about the abstract that you provide and make sure that it is concise, that it is not saying too many things, so much so that your focus is lost. So then we of course move to the writing process. Now, you should have an article that is appropriate, has appropriate content, so it's aligned. Now this is very important, it must be aligned to the focus of the journal. So when writing as well, you need to try and engage with the focus of the journal. you should try, because journal articles need to be sufficiently original. So you should offer some perspective that is new, right? It need not be groundbreaking. Of course, it's great if it's groundbreaking, but you know, you need to try and offer something that is of a new angle to the audience of that particular journal. And of course, it should be interesting enough. It should hold the interest of readers, so it provides some new angles to established arguments, right? So these are things that you need to think about as you write your article, so you're not just replicating scholarship that's already there, that people already know. So you have to ensure that you have the ability to attract readership, that you can contribute to existing conversations on the subject. You need to remember that there is this huge, you know, platform of conversations out there. People are already talking about so many aspects of language studies. So where would your article fit in? What is it that you are, you know, saying that can offer something interesting, right? And that you are just not merely replicating existing conversations. Everybody has said this, and you're basically echoing what everyone else has said. So because you need to remember, the article is going to go out to reviewers who are experts in the field, right? So what will happen is the chief editor and the editorial board will look at the article, and then they will identify reviewers in that field. So if that reviewer reads your article and then finds that, you know, there is nothing, you're just, you know, you have a very good literature review, that's fine. You know, you've got an extensive literature review, but in your analysis, you are just replicating what has already been said. There is nothing new in your data, and that's the you know, or the determining factor that ensures publication or rejection, right? So, but of course, like I said, you know, you need to show that you have mapped existing conversations. Now, so one of the ways in which you do this, of course, is Google Scholar and looking for keywords based on your subject. So, you know, if it's, let's just say, plurilingualism and multilingualism, I'm using examples from language studies, yeah? So you get a range of articles, and then you would need to, you know, access these articles. Now, there is, of course, you know, there are problems with this, because sometimes it depends on whether or not your university, you know, has subscribed to these journal portals. So that's also another issue. And, you know, there is this huge debate going out there that all journals should be open access. So anyway, that's another conversation altogether. But it is important that you try and secure these articles so that you know what are the main you know, conversations that exist out there in your field. And I think most universities now, even if they don't subscribe to most or most of these index database, you can at least get your library to purchase the article. So in UCAM we do this. Our librarian purchases individual articles for us. I'm pretty sure, you know, UITM has that as well. Most universities are moving towards that. So these are the pages, so where you can, you know, ensure that you know what has been written on your subject, so that you're not, you know, saying something that someone has already said, and that the reviewer is going to pick up and say, look, you have not read this, and this person's already said this maybe 2 years back, right? So that's important. So try to be as you know, well read as possible. So once you've done that, you then need to set the stage. You need to have a well-defined statement of problem. You need to have sufficient information on the background of the study, and you need to have clear objectives. So your literature review needs to be current, it needs to be related, and it needs to be very, very relevant, right? So don't bring in conversations that are not connected to your paper, to your topic. And then also, because you need to remember word limit as well. So if you're bringing in things that are not related, then you are actually eating up into your word limit of the particular article. So your discussion then needs to offer a novel perspective where possible. it should attempt to engage with and enrich existing conversations. So this is very, very important. How do you enrich pre-existing conversations, right? What are you showing that is new? It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be groundbreaking, but there are aspects that have not been dealt with in depth. And so you need to delve into those depths and show what it is that you are showing people. You need to also provide in-depth critical analysis of your data. That's important. So, you're not just paraphrasing, or you have very rich data. Often this happens. Reviewers say, there's a lot of data in this paper, but the author has not been able to actually draw out the data to show its significance and implications. So that's also, so you show these are the numbers of quantitative data or qualitative data, but you're not actually delving into the depths of your data. So that's important. And of course, you need to present a line of argument that is well developed and clearly articulated. So I'm talking from the point of view of English language studies. Clear, articulated arguments are very, very important. Because if you lose your reader, and the reviewer is your first reader, right? If the reviewer is lost in your, can't find his or her way out of your argument, then that's already dangerous, right? And because the person will say this in the review form. So all journal articles, as all journals have got review forms, and the editor will look at these before they make a decision. If the argument is not well developed or clearly articulated, then chances are it may be rejected. Or, of course, if there's constructive criticism, then you will be asked to work on it, to expand on your argument, especially if your data is important and significant enough. So most important is that you should not merely replicate existing conversations. You should not ignore pre-existing conversations. So this is very, very important, because reviewers will ask you, you're working on this, but you've not read these important articles on this subject. So ensure that you are as well read as possible, and avoid paraphrasing and avert generalizations without much critical analysis. That's also important, because it shows whether or not you have the ability to engage with your subject, or whether you are just flying through. Because a reviewer will know whether or not you are grounded in your particular discussion based on based on the depth and of your discussion. This brings us to the issue of scholarly discussion. So most journals have a very clear review form, mostly, right? And these are some of the things that we look out for. So the reviewer will be asked to comment on whether the research design and the methodology is appropriate to the study, right? So whether, or it's using something that's completely irrelevant. Whether or not it shows awareness of and engages with current developments in the field. So you need to, like I said, you need to be able to have read and also aware of what has been said in that particular field. You have to have clearly articulated statements, whether there is a sound discussion and interpretation, whether there is a well-developed argument with depth of analysis, and that you do not merely paraphrase but follow through with detailed explanation. Explanation is very, very, very important. And of course, you need to have a conclusion. So when you engage with the discussion, so it's always important to end with a conclusion, right? And like I'm using examples from literary studies and language studies. You need to have a conclusion that engages with the discussion, clearly supported by the analysis of content. So you are aware of what you have said. You haven't lost sight of what you have said, and you concluded. You address your original problem that you investigated. You highlight the implications of your findings, and then you reiterate its significance and contribution to the field. And of course, once you've finished all of this, most important, read your article again, review the contents, proofread for errors, because you need to remember, and I am speaking from the point of view of the English language studies field. If a article comes in and it is riddled with grammatical errors, chances are it's not going to move out for review. That's very, very important. And then comes the most difficult part, post-review. So you've sent in your article, you wait for the review. Often it comes back maybe 2 months, 3 months, depending. Now, how do you engage with reviewer feedback? So very, very important is that you need to be professional and objective when engaging with the feedback, right? So most editorial boards will ask you to make necessary changes per the review comments because they want to see that you've engaged with the reviewer comments. If you feel very, very strongly about certain comments that you feel would completely take your article off tangent, then provide a clear rationale for any counter argument using professional and objective language. So don't be defensive when presenting this. So you have to be very, very professional so that the editor who's reading your comments knows, all right, this person has a reason, right? And so then it would depend on whether or not they accept that reason or not. That's entirely up to the editor and chief editor. So, and of course, it's always advisable to provide a table indicating your responses to all suggestions or amendments as noted by the review. So, instead of just sending I think most journals would ask for this anyway. They would expect you to present a clean version of your revised article, as well as one that shows the changes made. And they could highlight the changes. You could use track changes. Sometimes track changes is very, very messy because you've got so many of these comments and all that. So you might want to just maybe highlight or use a different font color. But most important is that table that indicates your responses to all suggestions or amendments as noted by the reviewer. So all of it needs to be tabulated so that they know, all right, this person has engaged with my review comments. So yeah, and the different color, right?
Dr. Shantini,
Yes.
excuse me, Dr. Shantini, some audience telling me that your voice is breaking, so I suspect that must be coming from a bad connection. Could you please switch off the video and then just continue? Yeah.
Fine, I will do that. Just a minute.
Okay, I already did that for you, so please
Okay,
continue.
great. Thank you. I couldn't find the. All right, thank you. All right. So how am I doing for time, Dr. Yong?
You have around 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm almost completing, and then you can go on to Q&A. So,
yes.
Right. So I will just go through samples of an abstract and also content. So I'm just right. Okay. So this is an article from 3L, our most recent issue. And so this is a paper on IELTS, right? So it looks at how do Asian candidates fare in IELTS, and I look at 15 years of performance data. So it's got a very specific and concise title, right? So looking at it, it's focused. So it's looking at Asian candidates, and then it's looking at IELTS, and it's looking at 15 years of performance data. So everything is spelled out very, very clearly in the title, and then it has a very clear abstract. So, it talks about the IELTS Asian test takers. It talks about heightening interdependency. It's looking at a time frame of over previous 2 decades. It's looking at international education, Australian, Canadian, New Zealand, and UK universities. Asian prospective international students, particularly from China and India. It's looking at sufficiency of the English language proficiency, 25 of the course. So it's got everything spelled out very, very clearly. And then it tells you that it investigates how cohorts from 24 Asian nations fared in the academic IELTS test from 2003 to 2018. So time frame is clearly listed. And then it tells you that it will also look at candidates from Hong Kong, Malaysia, Philippines, as well as others from Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Jordanians, right? And then it also will look at worrying deteriorations in outcomes. So everything is objectives are very clearly spelled out. And it also tells you what are the implications of the findings of this particular paper. That's the abstract. So when I look at this, I know, all right, so this person knows exactly what he's about. Of course, this is just the first step, right? It hasn't gone out for review yet, so we don't know whether or not it will pass, but at least I know that this is something that the journal or the audience would also might want to read with academics in IELTS and English language. Then the paper itself, so the background. So it's got very clear background. It's looked at a range of a review of literature from 98 right up to 2017. So it's current, and then it looks at where. So it shows that it has a knowledge of the conversations that exist in the field. And then you go to methodology or the research design. And so method, right? So data was extracted from official IELTS website. To this site, the co-owners make publicly available a range of quantitative test materials. So it's telling you that, this is a public site. So it's readily available. So it's telling you what kind of data, where it's obtained from. And then it tells you the demographic data and test taker performance. It tells you that it utilizes contemporary as well as historical nationality data. It tells you, distributions of IELTS band score, outcomes, 24 Asian nationalities. The most recent data that of 2018 is compared to the earliest published distributions of band scores of in 2004. So everything is spelled out clearly for you. So you know exactly what the data is, what the method of collection was. Very clear analysis and findings. So he's got a graph, right, a diagram, and so this is where it's fine that you've got a very nice and very maybe a very high-tech diagram, but discussion does not bring out the information, the significance of your data. So you look at your IELTS scores, he says, looking at the IELTS scores, it's evident that the average East Asian candidate has been able to make enhancements in nearly all modules, whereas in listening and reading, it's got the scores, the focus, the East Asian, and then the subject, the aspects of listening and reading, and then it looks at nationality, so it looks at Hong Kong, so then it goes into the details of the East Asian candidate. So it's not just very general. So then he goes into Hong Kong, goes into Taiwan, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. So it's a very, very well laid out for the reviewer. And there is a conclusion in which it wraps up everything and draws everything together, and he also tells you of what are the limitations of the article, right? So these are just some of the examples of an article that will make it through the review process, right? Because so what I've given you today is basically the point of view of the editorial board when they look at your article. So Dr. Young, I will stop there and leave it to you for question and answer for your previous session as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shantini. A very insightful talk from you yourself. A lot of information that we have received from you, point of the journal manager, in terms of how do we improve the quality of a manuscript so that it can be successfully published in a language-based journal. Now, without wasting too much time, I think we can start with the Q&A. So if there is any question from the participants, do switch on your microphone, unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and then you can read out your questions. Otherwise, you can type in your question in the chat box, and I will, perhaps Dr. Shantini can see the question by herself as well, but I will read the question as well. So please, is there any question from the floor, from the participants? Okay, so well, before I ask Dr. Shantini the first question, I would like to apologize to the participants for the sound breaking when Dr. Shantini is delivering her talk. So, Dr. Shantini, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I understand that 3L is quite a high impact journal. So would you please introduce a little bit of the journals that you're managing right now, 3L? What is the ranking in Scopus, Web of Science, and then so yeah, how should we submit to you if we want to?
Oh, okay. Well, we have been flagged for impact by WS for the Social Sciences Index, but we have not made it into the quartile yet. But we are considered one of the top tier in other indexing, especially in Scopus as well. You are most welcome to submit your articles, but like I say, do visit our website. I can I can give you the link. I'm sure you can find it, 3L. And just ensure that the articles that you have are connected to English language studies, or that it is comparative. So, it can be in Arabic or other languages as well, Chinese, Mandarin, but it needs to have a comparative angle with English language studies. So I've just taken over the editorial board, managing the editorial board from March of this year. And the management of a journal is always dependent on the vision of the chief editor as well. And so I actually was chief editor of 3L in 2007, 2009, actually. Just before it was then, managed by what we are now managed by Penyelidik UKM. And that was the time in which Penyelidik UKM decided that we needed to have a Southeast Asian focus. So if you look at our articles, and especially the ones from 2021, the ones that I've been managing, especially the June issue and the upcoming September issue, we try to include Southeast Asian voices. So Malaysia, of course. So when I look at the articles that come in, the first thing I do is, of course, to look for Malaysian papers, right? Because we need to have a platform. And of course, when I look at those titles, when I look at those papers, I then look at the titles to see whether or not these titles will, garner enough readership so that our impact is also there, right? Because I have a responsibility to my university to ensure that my journal is kept at that level. But I have also included editors from Thailand, Singapore, and also the Philippines, because that's important for us to get Southeast Asian voices. So I would suggest, if possible, if you have friends in Thailand, in Indonesia, maybe work on papers with them. And we're looking for comparative angles, and I think that's lacking at the moment. So we have papers that focus on Indonesia. We have papers that focus on the Philippines. But what we don't really have is a comparative between the Philippines and Malaysia, or Indonesia and Malaysia. So these are the things that I'm looking for, and I think that will enhance even collegiality amongst ASEAN universities. So I would suggest that if you have got friends, then try to work on these things. That's what we are looking for, my editorial board as of current. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Dr. Yong?
Yes, very clear. It sounds like you have already told us what kind of articles that you want for your journal.
Yes.
So we do have one academy called the Academy of Language Studies here in UiTM. So staff from APB, if you are listening, so please remember those are the articles that Dr. Shantini wants for 3L. 3L is a very high impact journal. I just check, if not mistaken, is in quartile 1 or quartile 2 in
Yes.
Scopus.
Yes.
So that is very high impact, and that definitely helps in your promotion. I mean, your ITM staff. I just want to ask you one more question regarding the article publication charge. Inside there, it's stated 1,000 Malaysian ringgit. So I was wondering if that is compulsory, or can it be waived in any way?
That is entirely is really not left to me. It is a management, it is a management decision, because the journal is managed by Penerbit UKM, and a lot of work goes in. You've got editors, you have to maintain this huge. When I took over as chief editor, there are, because everyone's going digital now, right? So every journal needs to have an online submission portal, and this takes up time, takes money for the university. So in order to run it, it's important to have these charges. So that is really not left to me. It's a decision that is an administrative decision, which is also because especially universities in Asia, we don't get that much funding as universities in the UK and US, so they are able to manage without much funds. But it's not like an article processing charge where I think it's important to also have this in mind. The article process, just because there's an article processing charge as well, doesn't mean that your paper is going to be automatically accepted if you pay. If you say I'm going to pay, I can pay this, and so it's going to go through the stringent blind peer review process, and only when it gets through that final hurdle will we say, look, you have to. Of course, I mean it's based on case by case basis as well, but honestly, I'll tell you at this moment, it is not up to me. It is an administrative decision, yes. But which is also, necessary in this world, yeah.
I understand and I wholeheartedly agree with you. Publishing needs money to run, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. Anyway, I would like to announce to UiTM staff, if you successfully submit a paper and accepted by Dr. Shantini, my office actually have one scheme. We call it Pembiayaan Yuran Penerbitan Artikel. So that is a financial support that RMC of UiTM give to all UiTM staff, eligible UiTM staff, if their articles are published in journals, and preferably high impact journals like 3L. So don't worry about the 1,000, because we can pay up to 2,000. So UiTM staff, grab this opportunity, submit a manuscript to Dr. Shantini, and pray that it's accepted. And don't worry about the article publication charge. RMC, UiTM can support that.
That's a good
Anyway,
initiative. Yeah, that's a very good initiative.
anyway, I have been hogging the Q&A session for too long. So perhaps is there any question from the participants?
Yong, this is Daya here.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Shantini.
Hi, Daya. I can't really hear you very well, though. She's my PhD student, so she's being cheeky.
Actually, this question is directed at Dr. Yong, because I'm too familiar with Dr. Shantini by now, so I understand her ways. Dr. Yong, about the article sponsorship, is that also applicable to students on study leave?
Okay, now to answer that question, the the financial scheme offered by RMC currently is offered to active staff, which means that staff that are working and not on study leave. However, I believe that IPSIS also have a similar scheme, and they also pay for students doing postgraduate studies. Now, coming back to your question, if you are UiTM staff and you wish to apply for financial assistance, I believe that can be worked around. You just have to probably co-author with an active staff and let the staff claim on your behalf. But I believe IPSIS also have similar scheme. If not from IPSIS, it's from our pendaftar. I think you do have some allocation to pay for this publication fee if it incurred. But if any case, if you need any further assistance, you can just come and see me personally. We can work this around. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Yong. Thank you, Dr. Shan.
Welcome, Daya. And I'm afraid Daya can't publish if she's writing with me, because as chief editor, I try not to publish in my own journal because I feel that it's not ethical. How do I ensure, so these are the things that I need to do. But anyway, Daya knows that. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you, Daya. Is it Daya or Dr. Daya?
Oh, not yet, but it's quite inspiring. Thank you. Soon to be, I hope.
Soon.
I've
Yes.
got to.
Thank you, Daya. Is there any more question from the floor? Anybody? We have around 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes before we end. Well, I think perhaps the audience are very clear of what you have given us just now. So with that, I think let's join me and thank Dr. Shantini for the very informative talk that she has given just now. Thank you very much. So to sum our talk today, we have a very insightful session today. By the way, this is the third session of the seminar Penyelidik Muda that RMC has organized. Today, particularly, we have received a lot of positive feedback from the audience, and this is the first time that we have aired this session live in YouTube and Facebook. So thank you very much once again, Dr. Shantini, as well as Dr. Lokman, for the very useful information shared just now. And with that, I thank all the participants for joining us today. Thank you very much for your feedback and also your questions. So with that, thank you, Dr. Shantini. Thank you, Dr. Oman. We wish to see you again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yong. Have a good evening, everyone.
I'm sorry, before we end, I would like to inform the participants that there will be a attendance form that you will need to fill in so that we can log in your training hours. And one more important thing before we leave, a photo session. So please switch on your camera, and Hamiza, my assistant, we're going to snap a photo of ourselves. So please switch on your camera. Thank you. Hamiza dah ready ke? Hamiza? Hamiza dah ready ke?
Semua dah ready ke? Ada lagi nak buka kamera ke? Okey, 1, 2, 3.
Lagi sekali Hamiza.
Sekali lagi. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Hamiza, over to you.
Hadirin yang dihormati, sekali lagi majlis mengucapkan terima kasih kepada kedua-dua penceramah kita pada hari ini. Dengan berakhirnya sesi taklimat tadi, maka berakhirlah program kita pada hari ini. Mohon jasa baik para hadirin untuk mengimbas kod QR yang akan dipancarkan di skrin bagi tujuan pendaftaran kehadiran atau klik pautan URL yang akan diberikan oleh pihak sekretariat di ruangan chat. Kita sudahi majlis ini dengan bacaan tasbih kifarah dan surah Al-As. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sekian, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you
Yong.
very much.
Editor
Stay
Yong.
safe,
very
yeah,
much. Bye.
everyone. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Good luck.